Easy people, welcome back to my channel at Big Steve MCFC. This is the morning after the night before. Manchester City 2, Leicester 0. Another great 3 points. And I know I'm saying a great 3 points because this season it has been one of them seasons where 3 points has not been guaranteed in a lot of games. So I am celebrating 3 points. I am happy that we're starting to put a little bit of a run together. Great result at Bournemouth at weekend, Tottenham away, etc. So yeah, it was a good night all round. It wasn't the most entertaining game of football you're ever going to see, but I do feel like the opposition, dictated that. They was always going to come and try and dig deep and try and pinch a draw, maybe get something on the counter attack. But we broke it down. We broke them down, and we got the win. First of all, I've got to mention the protests. I was absolutely made up with the people that turned up for the protests. The first one outside the Colin Bell statues at 7 o'clock, we had the banner MCFC for the love, not the money. The press were gathering like wolves to hopefully they were preying on something crazy was going to happen. Everybody held the flag. Loads of people got behind the flag, and then we all had a good sing song. There was no animosity, there was no trouble, there was no flares, there was nothing stupid. It was a civilized, peaceful protest just to let the powers that be know that we're here and we're bubbling away under the surface. And we're not going to be twisted and blinded by silverware enough to not speak out when we think that something's not right. You know what I mean? So the first protest I thought did well. Sky Sports sort of half-collared me there. I did a bit of an interview. I've not seen it yet. But just basically telling them what we were there for, why we were doing it for the future generations, etc., etc. Don't price our kids out the game. New season tickets we want to be introduced so local fans can get into their local stadium to watch their local team. We told them all about the Viagogo and the 9 sites we're dealing with, how the tickets are ended up in the wrong hands. They're ending up in hands of away supporters. They're ending up in hands of a lot of foreign supporters that are not coming to support the team. They're just coming to film the game, or they're coming to FaceTime the mate back home, or they're coming to take some air clippers in the ground and film a YouTube video or a TikTok video and cut someone's hair, or they're coming to get, you've got some of these mad birds that come and get the tits out in the stadium with a Chelsea top on or something. So it's all bollocks. And at the end of the day, we ain't putting up with it. So the first part of the protest did well. The second part of the protest about the fans staying on the concourse for 9 minutes, we thought this one would be difficult because we get some fans are privileged enough to afford tickets, and these Viagogo sites, etc., won't affect them. They've got enough loyalty points, etc., etc. But there's still a hell of a lot of fans and future generations that are going to find it difficult to get into this football club. And how, if you're a young kid these days, a young Manchester City fan, how do you fall in love with this football club? How do you fall in love with everything about it, the atmosphere, them nights in the South Stand, etc., if your dad or your granddad can't get a ticket for you? Do you know what I mean? So this is what we're talking about. We're protecting the future generations of kids coming through, and we want the local fans to get a fair crack of the whip. That's all we're saying. We don't want to be replaced by massive corporate padded seat sections where it's 1,500 quid a game, and you can have vol-au-vents and fucking artichokes or whatever you fucking eat down there. You know what I mean? This is what we're trying to find the balance, and it's about dialogue. This is what it's always been about, dialogue. If the club come to the table and listen to the concerns of the fans, these things won't happen. We find a solution that suits every party, and we move on and we get behind the team. But what we did last night was we showed the world of football that we ain't messing about. And the amount of people on that concourse was unbelievable, singing their hearts out. You know what I mean? You can stick Viagogo up your ass. We're Man City. We'll fucking never die. Greed. All the chants were coming out and that, and I was proud of it. I was really proud of it. So the 1894, the food bank group, you know, the union, all the City supporters, the social media ones that have got a bit of a presence that got behind it. You know, I thank you all. There's a lot of social media Manchester City supporters didn't get behind it. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but that's on you. You know what I mean? People ain't blind, and you know, that's your prerogative. You can do what you want. But all I'm saying is it was a massive success. I've seen videos in the Colin Bell level 3, East Stand level 2, Family Stand. The South Stand lower tier was unbelievable as always. And yeah, we missed a goal. I did say on the last one, we're probably going to miss 3 goals, but we missed a goal. But we celebrated it underneath like, you know, we always would. And then it made the news, people. Sky Sports, NBC, CNN, Match of the Day. Yeah, they mentioned it. All the commentary around the world in different countries got a lot of people messaging, you know, the foreign fans. A lot of the foreign fans, the real City fans are behind us. They understand what we're going on about. This is not a foreign fan, Man City local fan clash. It's nothing like that. Do you know what I mean? There was lads from Houston and Korea and Japan, etc., behind us on the protest yesterday. Do you know what I mean? Singing, you know, about it. They understand the concerns. They're getting priced out as well, coming over, the real fans. You know, one guy said he comes from Houston every time, and he spends like, you know, ridiculous money, but his tickets now, he can't get them on his membership. He's having to get them through these sites, and they're £700-800. So he you know, he's feeling it. But I just wanted to say it was great, and then to see everybody come out of the stands and fill it up and get behind the boys was just brilliant. So it's round 1. You know, we've shown the club where we are. People have taken note of it. People have seen it. Pep has acknowledged it. So well done to all Manchester City fans. This is one thing with this football club that I've always been proud of. The fans will always call something out if it's not right, and whether that, you know, is an unpopular opinion or whatever, they will always stick to the guns. And last night, so many of the old school fans I've not seen for a long time came out the woodwork for that protest. Some people even turned up and they weren't even going to the game, but they just turned up to stand behind that flag. So fair play to everyone, and listen, really appreciate it. And you know, this is not some sort of radical movement. This is just us as fans wanting a voice. We need to know that Caldoun or Soriano or one of the boys up there, you know, Danny Wilson, is listening to the concerns of the fans. That is all we ask for. We ask for dialogue. The City Matters meeting is today. We will see the outcome of this. We will get some answers from it. I urge anyone that's in that City Matters meeting not to bend, not to get twisted up by fancy words or, you know, we need to do this, we need to do that. No. Go in there, sharp as nails, yeah, put it on the table, and, you know, you're representing the fans. So, you know, make sure you tell them how it is. So, yeah, overall, very, very pleased. Great response. Made the media. They highlighted it on Match of the Day. You could see the empty seats, and then the Grealish scored, and then after 9 minutes, they were full. So, job done. And a lot of rival fans are respecting it as well. So, well done to everyone. Anyway, on to the game. I've got my brew. The sun is doing me head in. It's coming through the Velux window there, so I can't even move or anything. It's getting right in my eyes. But I'm just having another cup of tea. You know what time it is. Cartwright and Butler. It's good enough for the Queen. It's good enough for me. But the game, mad lineup, but a very good lineup. A lineup that a lot of people was intrigued to see. You know, you've got Nunes at right back. Bit of a mad one, but we're accepting it. Ruben Diaz, Josko Vardio, centre-half partnership, solid. Nico O'Reilly earned his start on the left. We've got Jack Grealish playing in midfield. Happy days. Really, really happy with that. Mamouche was leading the line. Savio, Doku. Nico Gonzalez in there. Ilkay Gundogan in there. So it was a good lineup. And like you say, we scored the goal. I've seen it on Match of the Day. I didn't see it. It was on the concourse ballooning. Jack Grealish, first start in a long time, dedicated the goal to his dead brother, which I seen the interview after the game. It was very, very emotional. And anyone that knows Jack Grealish knows that he is that kind of guy. And you could tell, you know, it really hit him. I am fortunate enough to be friends with his dad. And I know that the whole family would have been proud yesterday of seeing Jack score that goal. So big up Jack Grealish, and I thought he did really, really well again. I thought he kept it ticking in the midfield. He was all over the place, so I was pleased to see him. Jeremy Doku, Savinho is the usual thing. We've said it on this channel before. Very, very frustrated. A lot of great build-up work, but then we get to the final third, and there was a lot of misplaced shots and block shots and things like that. But it's not for the want of trying. And I feel like if Savinho had his shooting boots on, he'd be chipping in 11, 12 goals a season, because he gets in some fantastic positions, but the shooting just seems to be off. Leicester never really laid a glove on us. They were very, very poor. You can see why they're going down. Ruud van Rockenhorst, Ed, he's finished there. He's finished. The Leicester fans don't even like him. We don't even like him. He was shit as manager of Man United as well. So let's not, sugarcoat it. He was wank at PSV Eindhoven. They wanted rid of him as well. All of my mates in Eindhoven hated him. So at the end of the day, Ruud will be back probably in the Dutch 4th division soon. So yeah, that's where he belongs. But Leicester were crap. Jamie Vardy was crap. There was no one in that Leicester team that you could say came out of it with any pride. They didn't really do anything. They never laid a glove on us. They would sat deep and compact, and they were trying to make it tough. The second goal was a calamity from the goalkeeper and Faiz is he called? They got mixed up. The ball broke to Mamouche. I can't lie, I thought he'd missed it. He hit it high, hit the underside of the bar and in. Another goal from Mamouche. Since he's come to the club, he's doing good things. He's scoring goals. And yeah, he's on form. And we've got to rely on him. Did we miss the big man? Of course we do. We miss his presence there, you know what I mean? But we played slightly different. And like you say, there was a lot more fluidity and movement in the front three. 1 minute, Grealish should be out on the left. Then Doku would be out on the left. Then Doku would be inside. Then Mamouche should go out on the left. So I think Pep's coming up with some sort of system to cope. It'd be interesting to see how we go at Old Trafford at weekend, to see what he does. Obviously, a few players were rested against Leicester, so whether Cousinov, De Bruyne, or Foden, etc., are rested for the Swamp, I don't know. But we're going in at 2-0 down, and we're happy with that. You know what I mean? It's job done. And like you say, we came out the second half, we huffed and puffed. It was relatively easy work. It was like a training session. It was, we were knocking it around. We wasn't forcing it. I think Leicester had one chance on the counter-attack, but they messed it up. But I think the loudest cheer of the night, was for Oscar Bobb. You know what I mean? And Oscar Bobb, after the pre-season he had, everyone was expecting big things from Oscar. You know what I mean? We were looking forward to starting the season with him, and then unfortunately got injured. He's a lovely, lovely lad. You know what I mean? He's been here a long time. And the City fans want nothing but the best for him. And we've been frustrated in the last few weeks, realising he's not been on the pitch. I bumped into him at Avros. Avros played Oslo in the Phoenix Trophy, and Bob had came down to watch him. And he said he was fit. He said, I'm fit. I had a bit of an overload in my ankle, and I maybe rushed it a little bit too soon, but he was getting there and he was ready to go. So last night when he come on, to see the whole stadium singing Oscar Bobb, 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 ole, 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 Oscar Bobb, 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 was brilliant. And you could see the smile on his face when he come on the pitch. And that's what football's all about. And I feel like we've got to get behind Oscar now. I think we can have a good run to the end of the season, Champions League, FA Cup. And I feel like Oscar Bobb can be a big part of it. So it's great to see him getting on the pitch and great to see him, smiling again. So big up Oscar Bobb. But other than that, people, it was relatively routine. The only other bad thing is Newcastle won, Aston Villa won. They're on a good run of form at the minute, Villa. So we know that this run to the Champions League is going to be tough. Chelsea play tonight. So it's not going to be easy. We just got to do our job. But looking at the running we've got, it is a favourable running. If somebody had said to get to the Champions League, you've got to play these teams in the last 10, I think we'd have accepted it. So we've got to keep going. We've got to keep moving. Pep was banned. He was in the box last night. He was not on the touchline. I think he's back for Old Trafford, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm sure somebody will correct that in the chat. But yeah, relatively happy, like you say, happy with the protests, happy with the result, happy with the performance, and it's all systems go now to the Swamp. I'll just touch on the Swamp. I was going to do a preview this week with Saeed. We go to United. It's a Manchester derby, bit of pride. Let's hope the away end is full of decent people that are going to get behind the teams, not people filming and half scarves. We don't need that in a derby. It's embarrassing. We need to go there on Sunday and we own one, because that result at the Etihad this season for me was the most embarrassing I've seen for many a year. Embarrassing for the fact that the Man United team of that lack of quality can come there and get a result like that in the last couple of minutes. So I was embarrassed by it. We owe them one. I did actually watch them the other night against Forest, and I didn't think United played that bad. They're knocking the ball about well, but there's no end product. Their front two, Xerxes and Hoyland, are well off the pace. Do you know what I mean? And if you want to sustain some sort of level in this Premier League, your strike force has got to be able to score goals. And with them two up front, I don't think Man United can score goals. And that's not me jinxing it now, because if that fucking Hoyland scores a hat-trick, or that Xerxes scores a hat-trick or something against us at weekend, then I'm going to have to give up fucking football ever again, because I just can't work it out. Because for me, they're terrible, them two. But I feel like it'll be won and lost in the midfield on Sunday. You know, we don't want to let Bruno Fernandes get a grip of the game in there. We need someone to ruffle him up, rag his cages about, get him off the game, get him whinging, get him moaning like he does. And then we've got enough quality in the final third with Mamouche, Doku, Savinho, Oscar Bobb, etc. to hurt him. And if Kevin De Bruyne is in the mix as well, then I feel like, you know, we can go there and get the win. I do think we're going to win, to be honest. I do think we're going to win. But I'm going to try and do a preview. Don't forget, if you're on this YouTube thing a lot of the time, we have another channel at We Are the South Stand MCFC. Daps is now doing morning streams on there, like 9 o'clock. So if you get up in the morning and you want to listen to Daps' dulcet tones and talking about what happened the night before, or just general Manchester City news, tune in the morning, get yourself a brew like me, and listen to Daps and the boys on there. The Big Six show is on Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Don't ask. I don't know why, but we're doing it. And other than that, people, I've not got a lot to say. Other than that, today, the sun is shining. Big Steve is smiling. The protest is on every news channel. And Man City got 3 points. So other than that, have a great, great day. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you again, everyone that done the protests, because you know, it's all right saying it, but getting it done is another thing. And you did us proud, and I was very, very proud of it. And let's see the outcome of the club and the City matters, and let's see if we can finally get some sort of dialogue between the club and the fans. So all I'm going to say is have a great one. Up the Blues. Welcome back, Oscar Bobb. Come on, sir.